My name is Bruce Norval. I am a haemophiliac, and in common with a large number of subjects of Her Majesty the Queen, I am really annoyed, but then I'm really annoyed for some very specific reasons. Give me a minute and I'll explain. I've spent my life proving that the Contaminated Blood scandal is in fact two scandals layered one on top of the other. So while the PM promised over a year ago now to sort this out, and people are now being offered £7,000 decreases in support in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. And Scotland is going ahead with a scheme that at least supports people going forward and gives some hope of greater recognition to their ill health and those that are responsible for it. Don't get too smug, Nicola, but this is really for David and his cabinet. You're a complete and total bastard. You have fed the dying lies. You are the worst kind of Prime Minister we've ever had. Margaret Thatcher looks like a saint alongside your horror story of an apology last year. The gall of it. Jeremy Hunt, what can I say? My friend Dave. Oh God, man. Remember a guy called Michael Doricott? See, the thing is, I find it very hard to say Jeremy and not use the word that I really don't like using. So we'll not do that. I mean, you are a pair of bastards now. We've got a pair of bastards. It's coming from your fixed grant. It's coming from your amount of money. This is a human rights violation when it comes to haemophiliacs. We've proven that. The first page of the Penrose Inquiry recognises that. It is a non-consensual experiment from 1969 onwards. Oops. Let alone the stuff that was added to it. I mean, if you actually read the evidence, if you actually read the Penrose report, what you realise very quickly is it isn't an excusing document. It doesn't let government off the hook. In fact, it points some very nasty fingers at some very scary facts. So, no doubt wee George has got a hand in this, so here's the thing. When it comes to actually getting people to vote for the UK, for the EU, give a fuck, give a cunt. Oh God, I said it now, eh? Ah well, we'll carry on. Then there's the Home Office. It was their bright idea to go ahead and use prison plasma to supply the plasma pools to rehabilitate prisoners. The very people who were more than aware that prisons were filling up with people with serious drug habits, and therefore the normal high risk of infection associated with prisons was being accelerated at a significant pace. But while we live in bullshit land, and the Home Office pretends it's not their problem, and the Cabinet sits back and goes, it's Mr Hunt's problem, don't get smug. It's bollocks. The Cabinet of the United Kingdom since the 1960s is steeped in this horror. And while we're on it, let's get on to one of the civil servants' dirtiest little tricks. Let's not pretend that there is a single disaster here. You have two scandals, one layered on top of the other, both made more scandalous by the very fact that both are being exploited in such a horrific way. And one where, Nicola, you can be a little bit smug on. Here's the thing. Living with these diseases, you realise that life becomes a horror story. Treatments don't work. people never get the true level of ill health. You spend your life fighting the DHSS for the mistakes of others. So it's more than appropriate that those received non-plasma pool products but got hepatitis C or HIV should look to the state for reasonable support. And I do think that we have come some way towards that in Scotland. However, I think we've also proved that patients who were part of the plasma pool programme were let down on a grand scale, like right up to the abuse of Crown immunity in Scotland, where it didn't actually exist. And here you come, the Scotland office, that's where you come in, because you ignored the fact that Crown immunity was non-applicable in Scotland and kept telling blood transfusion it didn't matter, they didn't have a licence. So you were manufacturing a product that had a pseudo-licence in an unlicensed premises, resulting in the corrupting of all the prescriptions, made more so by the fact that the consultants who were treating patients were fully aware of 1 and 2. So, my message this Easter to all you bullshit merchants in suits and smileys, it's time to talk real. We're dying and you're robbing us of the truth. And that is the scummiest, dirtiest, nastiest thing of all. You've had one disaster on top of another, you've turned people against each other, you've provided support for one group but not the other, so you disrupt things. You've deliberately kept the campaign off its feet for most of it, which is why I focused in Truth in Scotland. To win this, campaigners, you need to go after these bastards in Cabinet and their lies. You have to understand where they're responsible. I'm in not a unique position, but certainly quite a unique position in that I've actually read the whole Penrose report, I've read the pre-report, and I've read all the evidence, the supplementary facts, and sat down with the lawyers and discussed much of it. Much of the narrative of no responsibility is absolute bollocks. It does not stand up to scrutiny. If the people who support UK going on its own believe that we'd be better on its own, I would like to see you step up for this one. Because if not, you're talking crap and all. See, I'm tired now, you know. It's like I've spent 25 years watching my friends die. And it's time to stop.